Hello, my name is Pablo and I work with scientists and designers to turn real-world numbers into art, data sculptures. This is an IFC event about technology, trust, and transformation. Let's look at stories of transformation made of data about demographics and migration. This is a population pyramid. How many people ages 0 to 1, age 50, all the way to age 100? We can see that there are more children than young adults and fewer older adults. This front slice is for the year 1950, split by sex. The global population was about 2.5 billion people. Over time, babies are born, people live longer, there's progress in health, nutrition, safety. Fast forward to 2019, and the global population is now almost 8 billion. That involved a lot of investments. Note the mild sex asymmetry. Statistically speaking, grandmas outlive grandpas. Now from the world, let's go to the small island nation of Maldives. In 1950, the typical population pyramid shape. Children, adults, older adults. Over time, things change. Now, what about recent years? What is this? Many more young adult males. This is the impact of immigration. Construction, hospitality workers coming from Bangladesh and beyond to support the tourism boom in the Maldives. Building beautiful resorts on the water, creating opportunities and risks. Much of this new infrastructure will likely be underwater before the end of its lifetime, doomed by sea level rise and extreme events. Let's look at a different place. The state of Amazonas in Brazil, a state twice as large as Turkey. When thinking of Amazonas, most people think of rainforest, deforestation. Yes, and there's more. Here is a population data sculpture for the state of Amazonas split in two halves. Instead of male and female, here we have rural versus urban. For the rural, in 1970, we had about 500,000 people. Over time, about a stable number of children were born, so in the last census, 2010, because people lived longer, we have about 750,000 people in rural areas. And in cities, in 1970, about 400,000 people, but over the decades, with population growth and rural to urban migration, whoa! Look at that. There's now about 2.7 million people living in cities in the state of Amazonas. Today, the GDP of the state of Amazonas comes largely from industry and the services sector. Only 7% of GDP comes from agriculture. This is a story of transformation. Cities are central to technology and jobs, but are we adequately addressing access to basic services? And what about trust?
Visualization of data is important to build trust, but data on trust itself is even more important.
Thankfully, we have data from the Lloyd's Register Foundation World Risk Poll. So much texture about nations and cities, sex and youth, trust and risk. Learn and see more by visiting this website. A lot is changing. As you and your team make investment decisions, remember that transformation and technology create opportunities and risks for the most vulnerable. Data, like art, can inspire us to place issues in greater context, to help us notice what's coming, and to make smart choices. Wishing you responsible leadership, and thank you.